All right, class. First off, as always, good day. So first off, this is chapter 2 of economics. So we're going to be talking mainly about the three types of economics um, there are, if you really boil it down. But first off, this video, we're going to talk about two of them, the first two. Okay, so here is your warm-up picture. All right, so analyze it. What do you see? Okay, so break it down. Now, the second question is this. I really want you to look at the three options for this particular person. It says flee, stand still and get swept out to sea, or learn to surf. What I want you to do is really think about yourself in this economic class. Are you the type of person who's going to just run away from it? I don't want to learn this. I'm going to try to avoid it as much as possible. Or are you going to be that type of person who, okay, I'm going to listen in class, I'll pay attention for a little bit, but then it goes in one ear, out the other. Okay? Or are you going to be the type of person who's going to listen and take the useful stuff in this class and apply it to your real life? You know, maybe not today or tomorrow or a week from now, but in the future. That's something might click in your head and you go, I remember that about economics. You know, I learned about this stuff. I know how to, you know, when I see things, I can recognize that. I'm not being played by corporation, things like that. Um, you can see the signs before other people do. You know what I mean? So, which kind of person are you going to be? One, option A, option B, or option C? That'd be the second question. Okay, so get ready for the notes because here they come. All right, so economics. It's an organized way of providing for the wants and needs of their people. When they say their people, they mean government. Because believe it or not, government does tie in with economics. Okay. Now, again, like I said in the beginning, there are three types. We're going to talk about the first two today, but they are traditional, command, and market. Okay. Now, traditional economics is kind of like how it sounds, tradition. They come from ritual, habits, or customs. Basically, people are not free to make decisions based on what they want or what they would like to have. It's basically decided by those people who are older, who have lived um, their life, and they know the traditions and customs of their culture, their country, things like that. So I like to use the example of Thanksgiving. You know, you people usually have a tradition of going to someone's house, having a particular, turkey, some particular to eat, maybe watching something on TV like the parade or the football game. People usually have a tradition, especially around Thanksgiving. Other holidays as well. So there's usually something you guys constantly do. Everyone knows um, what to expect. Okay. Okay. So here are the pros and cons of a traditional economy. The pros. The first thing is everyone knows their role. So going back to the Thanksgiving tradition, um, if your, let's say, mom is the one who usually cooks the turkey or the makes the tamales or cooks the yams or whatever, everyone's going to look to her to be like, well, where's the turkey? You know, because tradition, that's her role, that's her job. It could be your dad, it could be anybody, but somebody who you expect it from them, and that's their role in traditional type of economy. Um, so in this sense, people know what their jobs are. Okay, they know what to make. Okay, the people know what to make. They know how to do it, things like that. Now go to the next thing, how to produce it. Okay, they know how much to do um, and how to make it. Because again, it's tradition. You do the same thing over and over again. Okay. The last one is it dictates how people live their lives. Okay, so there's no surprises, no hidden agendas. Everyone knows their role. Everyone knows how it goes out. There's no one sneaking around trying to do more, do less. Everyone does their part for the community, for the whole, as it is. And in Thanksgiving tradition, it's usually your family. Okay. Now, here are some bad things about traditional economy. One, there's no new ideas. There's nothing new. So let's say you guys usually have pumpkin pie for dessert, and somebody says, you know what, we should have cheesecake. Those people may look at you like, what's wrong with you? We always have pumpkin pie. You know, Traditionalists would be like, no, you don't just throw away a tradition. No, you just don't add something new. And that's the problem with tradition. Bringing in something new, it's seen as taboo. It's just no. You there's usually punishment for those who try to bring in something new or try to start something new in a tradition. They're usually shunned or they're outcast or things like that. So it's kind of bad for those people who want new things in a traditional setting to try to bring something new in or have new ideas. And the last thing, it kind of lowers the standard of living. And the reason why this is a bad thing is because, yeah, tradition, yeah, it's okay to a certain extent, but if you do the same thing, let's say in your life, you get up at the same time, you go to work at the same time, you come home, you watch TV from this time to this time, and then you go to bed. Um, you're not really living a life. You're not going out and exploring the world. You're not doing much with it, with your life. You're just going to work, coming home, watch TV, maybe eat, and then go to bed. You're not doing much. You're not going out to see anybody, things like that. So that's kind of bad. Okay. So it is good to try to once in a while bring in something new, try some new stuff, maybe even go try a new restaurant, whatever it may be. Go out and try new things. Okay. So here's the next one. So the command economy. Now, this one's interesting because the thing is, the needs, the goals, and the production quota is for a major industry is set by the government. They control it all. Money can be shifted from consumer goods to national defense like that. Okay. Now, there are some people in this country who say, oh, there's nothing good about the command economy, there's nothing great about it. And reality is there actually is good things. Now, a lot of it there are bad, but there are some good things. Like for example, they can shift their resources from one place to another very easily. Okay, there's no red tape, there's no discussion, there's no, you know, if it's needed, they can do it. Okay, do they always do this? No, but can they? Yes. So, for example, um, let's say they say we need to, um, I don't know, make parks for people in every town. Make the parks bigger, put with the jungle gyms and playground areas, things like that. In a command economy, they have the ability to do have that resources to do that kind of stuff. You know, they can do that. Whereas in other types of economies, in other types of government, they there's a lot of red tape. It's voted on, it's in committees. They have to look at things legally. Sometimes things get attached with earmarks. Oh, I'll vote for it. If you do vote this for me, you help me out with my thing. Or, oh, you should add this to that bill, you know, and then I'll support it. And so those people, their own thing is being passed along with that. So there's a lot of things that can get attached to it, and it takes a while for it to get passed and for you to find the money, or you can get it from taxpayers, or you can get it from junk bonds. How are you gonna get this money to do all this stuff? But in a command economy, if They want it, they can do it. No ands if or buts about it. Okay. Um, Everyone has a job. Now, it's usually in either industry or agriculture. Okay, yeah, they have other jobs besides that, but a large majority of them is in industry and agriculture. Okay, so everyone has a job. And if someone doesn't like their job, let's say they don't like it in the industry place, they're like, oh my God, they're working me to the bone. I don't like working the 40 hours a week and, working the same job. Then the government will be like, no problem. We're going to send you to the fields. Yeah, let's see you go out there now. Working still 40 hours, busting your back, things like that. Okay. And if that person's like, oh my God, I want that job back at the factory and this, and that, sorry, we gave it to somebody else. Okay. So, uh, again, everyone has a job. Everyone's basically forced to get a job. There's nobody just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. Everyone's doing something. Okay. Now, the last thing is health and public service are basically available to everyone at little to no cost. Because you have to remember, they're not doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. It's because they have everyone working for the government, to make their country prosper, so they can get money and things like that. So if you have somebody who's sick and they're sick at a factory and then they go take a break and then they're in the same room and somebody's coughing like a just coughing a storm, then they might make other people sick. And if more people get sick, then production is going to slow down. And that's the last thing they need is production slowing down. So what they do is, hey, if you're sick, go see a doctor. You know, you're injured, we don't want you slowing down production, go see a doctor. Okay. Um, Buses, subways, things like that. One place to get you from work to home and home to work. Yeah, we'll take care of that. Because just in case you get tired, you get in an accident, things like that. Not only did you hurt yourself, you may have injured somebody else, and there you go, you just ruined production. So they will take care of that kind of stuff. Okay. Now that's the good. Now we're going to get into the bad. So here's the bad. They're not designed to meet the needs of the consumer. You don't get to choose what you want. They basically tell you this is what you're getting. This is what we're producing. This is it. Take it or leave it. Um, when communism fell, there were two things that people wanted from Russia. Number one, well, it's kind of goes back and forth, but um, one of the things was a Big Mac because they heard so much stuff about the Big Macs. And the second thing was jeans, okay, because jeans is a symbol of America. And in communist Russia, um, they didn't like the U.S. And so if someone wore jeans, it's like, are you supporting them? Are you trying to be like a Westerner? Things like that. So that's two things that when it fell, they were like, we want Big Macs and we want jeans. Okay. Now, workers are not given the incentives of working hard. So like if you're working and you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired, this and that, and you're like, my time's up, your boss may tell you, hey, I need you to work another hour, maybe two, and you're like, I'm really tired, and my time's already up. They might say, okay, we'll give you overtime, time and a half. Or if they need you to work a holiday like Christmas, we'll pay you, double pay or whatever it may be. They're trying to get you to go to work and they're willing to cough up more to get you to work. Okay, so you may take that offer and go to work. Whereas in countries like this, in a command economy, um, the workers are not given incentives. You know, so if you work overtime, you work overtime. That's it. You just need to put more time in to get your job done. You don't get time and a half. You don't get extra just because it took you longer. No. And if you worked, let's say you finish things early, well, hey, guess what? Here's another thing you work on. You're still got time, so work on this. Okay, they're gonna get their time out of you, maybe even more. Okay, um, large decisions are made by the bureaucracy. Okay, by the top people. Now that also ties in with the next con, which is um, they don't have the flexibility to deal with small day-to-day things. Okay, so think of it like this: if the principal at a school, he didn't have the counselors, he didn't have the other type of assistant people, the aides, he didn't have the teachers, and his job or her job was to make sure that every student did their work every single day in a standard high school. It would be almost impossible, you know. But that's the thing. These guys, they like to chunk everything. They like to have control everything, but the small, tiny things that need attention by the lower people who can or who are there at that time, um, they can't make those decisions. That has to come up from the top, and the top doesn't have time to look at the minor things. They're just looking at the big picture of stuff. Um, People with new or unique ideas, um, they don't get ahead. If somebody creates a machine that takes in less material, produces more, makes it come out faster and better, that person in this country would be a millionaire without question if they invented something that did something like that for whatever product. Um, but in a command economy, they would just get oh, good job. We're going to take it, but we're not going to give you anything. All right. Rewards, again, are very, very rare. Okay. So, your final question is this: of those two types of economy, traditional and command, which one do you personally feel is better, and why? Justify your answer. So if you had to pick and look at the pros and cons of both of them, and you had to pick which one was better to live in for you, knowing how you are, which one would you rather live in? What kind of economy would you have to pick? Okay, again, let's say the world is split in two. There's command and traditional. Which one would you be um, more comfortable living in? Okay, so that's it for this video. Um, Once you finish this question, you are completely done. Be sure you put your name on the packet if you have the packet. If it's just on regular sheet of paper, that's fine. But be sure you put your name, the period, and which day you have me for. Okay. So again, I hope you learned something new and hope to see you in class. All right. So you have a good day. Take care and be safe.